Hey, what's good, comic fans? This is Campfire Comics, and we're here to talk about Kanan issue number 10. I'm Campfire Rich.
I'm Confire Nate, and again, this issue starts off the same way as most of the rest. It's very interesting because you get to see him in the way we know him. All right, we know for those who watch Star Wars Rebels, you know. If not, then you're probably not reading this comic. But you get to see that. You get to see what you're used to, and it's funny because it always transitions to him remembering what it was like, after, before. It's more or less like after Order 66, or I mean before. It's kind of in that little like right before it sort of thing. So we get to kind of see him because we know his story from what we've heard in the show, but we don't get to really know that much about it. You know, he was a Padawan. His master picked him because he was kind of a little different, a little bit more aggressive, and took it upon herself to teach him. He got his butt saved last time, and it was interesting that little transition between where he's in the back to tank, and then transitions to the last time he remembers being in the back to tank, when he was younger, which was kind of cool. But it's also kind of hard to follow. But we get to see him. He's starting to make friends with some of these clone troopers that are there, that are part of the crew, that his master is basically in charge of, and it's kind of interesting to see that kind of back and forth there.
I liked it because once he gets out of the tank, they save him. They do have that back and forth, and now they're back on the battlefield, and they're trying to take over the city, and they're fighting their way through it, and it looks like they get ambushed, and so you're just like, hey, what can this Padawan really do? You see him and his master defending off several waves of these droids that they're fighting. Now, what I liked about this, because you're always wondering, like, they're going to get out of it. You're just curious how they're going to get out of it. Like, what's going to happen. And then when the Skull Squad, I think it's what Skull Squadron popped up, and then I was like, wait a second, that's not a clone. Like, that was the Mandalorians. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. They come in and took it out. But that was a cool little fight scene right there where they was kind of fighting the droids, and you got to see, Kanan do his thing as a Padawan.
Yeah, it's kind of neat because you kind of look at it and you try to figure to yourself, because from a Padawan master standpoint, what we know is what we know from the prequels. Mm-hmm. So you kind of say, well, how old do you think Kanan is in this point? You have to assume that he's somewhere between where I don't think he's at the age where we saw Anakin in the Clone War in the second movie. I think he's a little bit younger, a little bit more between the first movie and the second movie. Anakin age. That's basically what I'm talking about. Like that's the age. So he's kind of, I'm trying to imagine like a 9-year-old boy. And this 9-year-old boy is kicking butt. I mean, and I thought that was kind of cool when he the image of him, which I'm sure is on the screen right now, when he comes down and he cuts right through the droid and you see that. Yeah. I thought that was a really cool drawn image. I really like that a lot. I also like how there's the constant kind of like monologue going on. Like he has this monologue, eternal monologue, kind of. It's because it's all being remembered. So he's kind of remembering this as he's in where he really is. So you kind of get him talking from a perspective of, I didn't know this. This was this, and then it leads to the end, which I thought was really exciting because right before the end, when that's what I meant to say, right before the end, when she has that flash. And it's kind of her looking at him, and you see the clone. I feel, and it reminds me of the very first issue where it led up to that point where it basically was them around a fire, and that after they had finished what they were doing, and one of the clone troopers got Order 66 right there. Mm-hmm. So I'm imagining that moment that he's flashing on is the moment that we will see when she's like,
gets killed,
run,
or whatever,
and basically takes on to get him away, because we know that he's going to survive, and she's not. So it's interesting because he's starting to sense those things with the Force. I thought that was really cool, which led to the next part. Did you get that from like what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the same thing. When I saw it, I was like, yo, I wonder if he's flat, the Force vision he got was right at Order 66. You know, that's what it seemed because of the distress she had on her face and stuff like that. So that's what I was thinking that you got from that. And then right after that, you get this warrior come down about to, take him on. And his master's like, yo, you want to fight a Jedi? I got you. And then who do we get behind her? This General Grievous. Like, leave him be. You got your own problems.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
It was pretty interesting because the guy basically killed his friend. Okay, so his friend that he has, so he's experiencing which I mean he's going to experience a lot more of it, which I think they even say about you're going to experience loss.
A lot of loss, yeah.
And almost within a few moments of them talking about that, he does. He experienced loss with someone that he's kind of kind of
grown close to. They've
grown
kind of
close
got a little,
to, sort of, yeah.
Buddy there.
And now he's dead, and now they're in a really bad situation. And of course, what they love to do with these comics is they love to give us this moment and then cut.
I know.
And it's it's great because it's the comic version of what's coming next week.
Yeah.
On a television show that just gets you amped where you're like, man, I want to see that. I want to read it now. I really want to know what happens. But overall, I thought it was a good issue. I'm excited for the next one for sure.
Yeah, the ending made you excited for the next one. I was so, and then the ending come, and I was like, okay, let me see this. Let me see this fight take place. And, of course, we're going to make us wait for the next issue. But, guys, that's pretty much our review. Let us know what you think about it. How are you enjoying this Kanan series? How excited are you to see General Grievous, have a go at this group of Jedi, which we know he doesn't get killed, but still it'll be an awesome battle all the same. So, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And until next time, we out.
See ya.